Hi, everybody. I'm Greg, Bioinformatter on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Moxfield. And we are going to risk a try number 4 at a collector booster box for Magic the Gathering's new Unfinity set. Um, so I've already opened 3 boxes of this. The first box was actually pretty good. The second box was pretty bad. It had its highlights, but it was still pretty bad. Um, the third box, it was like in between. So with this set, the chase cards are the Galaxy foil Shocklands, and you're at least from my experience, you're not going to find one in every box. So I actually only have one of them from the first box. The second box, I only had one Shockland via the box topper, and I did have a good list pull that kept it from being totally catastrophic. The third box, I ended up getting 2 Shocklands, no Galaxy foil, but at least it was 2 Shocklands, and I got a good. Actually, it was the same good list pull, um, and yeah, so I want another Galaxy foil Shockland. Um, so I am risking opening this other box. It would be financially prudent to just keep this thing sealed and try and flip it later on. Um, but yeah, I kind of like don't go through the hassle of flipping things. I buy things, I open them, and I deal with having a whole bunch of extra cards that I don't need. Um, but anyhow, let's crack into this and see what happens. Wish me luck. Shrink wrap is gone. No holding back. So there's our topper. You know, I don't know the rules for the topper as to what the contents should be. Um, I'm hoping that there's at least supposed to be a shock in there, but I don't know if that holds true. Really, I haven't figured out the rules of this set for certain. In my third box, so my first 2 boxes, there's like 2 land slots at the end of the pack, and like one of them from my first 2 boxes, the inference was that the first one would be some borderless foil, fancy version of a land. Um, and it could maybe at some very rare frequency could be a shock land. I wasn't sure. But then the other slot was supposed to be a galaxy foil, um, of not necessarily a shock land, but one of the basic lands. And in my third box, that didn't hold true. I had some where at least it very much seemed like it was too just regular, and the fact that they weren't galaxy, they were foils, they were foil borderless lands, but they weren't, or at least didn't seem to be galaxy foil lands. Um, and from art to art on the lands, the galaxy foil is a little bit more pronounced in some than others. Uh, so maybe it's very subtle and I missed it, but that third box was a little weird. Um, but it still ended up being, not terrible, but it just wasn't. It still wasn't worth how much I paid for it in, higher value cards. But enough of a preamble. We've got our packs out. Let's just start ripping into them and see what we find. Okay. Non-human cannonball. Ticket turbo tubes. plot armor. And I guess I'll pause here just for some basics. So I've already done 3 boxes this, so I'm not particularly interested in reading into the details of the individual cards. So this is pretty much going to be card names as I slap things out. But things to notice on these cards is that here's an acorn, which means that this, from my perspective as a EDH player, these cards aren't legal in Commander unless your play group says so. So these aren't, pre-approved for Commander use. But here's one where there's no acorn stamp. So this is legal in Commander, as is this one. So I still haven't bothered to figure out what happens with there's a list slot in these packs that ends up being a silver bordered, or at least mostly silver bordered list card from a prior unset. And I don't know if those are legal or not. They don't have acorns, so maybe the list cards have their own separate rules, and those just aren't legal in Commander. But I'm not positive on that yet. And there's all kinds of things going on in this set. There's stickers and tickets and attractions and things with the alphabet and things with the art and other things that are kind of like outside of the game. So there's lots of crazy stuff going on, and like the stuff outside of the game is a little bit more extreme. I'm not so enthused about that aspect of it. But the rest of it, the attractions are at least akin to dungeons. If you've already experienced dungeons from the last set and Adventures in Forgotten Realms. So at least that's that kind of maps similarly. And but some of the stuff like with the dexterity tests and asking someone outside the game and things like that, they're things that I just wouldn't want to bother with. Yeah. So anyhow, I will continue now, and then we'll speed up as we get through the packs. We champion Roxy, Publicist to the Stars. That's an uncommon. Trespasser. And there's new creature types. Human, rogue, guest. So the guest is a new type. Here's an example of a attraction. And so this one's the Clown Extruder. So this one's just a common attraction. So, it is as much of a powerful effect, but when you visit an attraction, you get to roll a 6-sided die, I think. Let me double check. On the back of the attraction, there's instructions about the attractions. And yeah, so open attraction by putting the top part of this deck into the battlefield. Destroyed attractions go to the junkyard. Roll a 6-sided die as your main phase begins. Visit each attraction with the result lit up. And then, so in EDH for constructed, no more than one with the same name and a minimum of 10 in your deck. And your attractions go in a separate deck off to the side, so they're not part of your main deck. And if something happens where you have to kind of like get rid of an attraction, it goes to the junkyard rather than the graveyard. So they're distinct zones. Okay. So I'm trying to become more familiar with this because I'm going to play a sealed commander draft game. So a boxing league kind of thing. Katarina of Mira's Marvels. We're into the rare. Okay. So now we will play the roll of the dice and see. Okay. So my lighting and the time of day are such that you can see the galaxy foil effect, which is actually pretty cool. It's much easier to see by eye as you kind of like manipulate this. It's much more difficult to get it exactly on camera when you've got different lights focusing in different directions. But yeah, there we go. So like not in the direct beam of the light, but you can see it. It's just common here, but this is a blank goblin. Okay. Here is a spelling bee, and it's also a galaxy foil. And I hope you can see that. Like on the wings, you can see the flashing lights. That's the galaxy foil effect. Tuscan Whiskers. So this is an example of a showcase version, and assuming this is just a showcase foil version of things. And here's one of these silver border list cards. You know, so I'm calling them silver border list cards. You can see they put a little bit of black at the bottom. But you know, I'm not familiar with the exact cards that you find in the other sets, but I'm assuming these are from prior unsets. So in this case, the big idea. So 2 and hybrid black or red. Roll a 6-sided die. Create a number of 1/1 red Brainiac creature tokens equal to the result. Tap 3 untapped Brainiacs you control. The next time you would roll a 6-sided die, instead roll 2 6-sided die and add the total of those results. So you can boost what your die roll is supposed to be. Put that over there. Okay, here is Truss, Chief Engineer. So this is a rare. Okay, and here is a swamp. So it's very pretty. It's just a borderless foil swamp. I will hold off on getting into a lot of detail about the swamp, so about the lands until I get more. But we did have an excellent hit here. So this is a breeding pool, and it is a galaxy foil. A galaxy foil breeding pool. So that's an awesome pull. And a teddy bear and a balloon. So depending on what else we get, you know, that could be worth the price of admission. I don't know. I'm going to do a quick price check here. Control find breeding pool. So a breeding pool in a galaxy foil is currently about 113. So you figure I mean, I kind of rounded down, but you know, depending on when you pre-order and stuff, you know, collector boxes at least used to be around $200. And I know that there's like some markup on the market after that. But yeah, so that's like, half a box's value plus a little bit. So depending on, if this is like another shock, it's probably around 40, it's like 150. So you might be able to make up the difference in the rest of the cards. The main set actually doesn't have a whole lot of monetary value yet, at least. Um, there are certain cards that, will be um, good for Commander even after this. So maybe they'll eventually, rise in price, but who knows how all that's going to pan out. But pretty much it's the lands. There's very few of the rares, and particularly like you want the Galaxy foiled versions of everything. Um, that's where all the value is going to be concentrated. So we'll see how this pans out. Um, Jetpack Janitor, Disembowel, Command Performance, Sanguine Sipper, Make a Blank Splash, Space Family Goblinson. So this is only an uncommon, but for people that love counters, this is a good card. So Space Family Goblinson has Trample, or as long as you've rolled 3 or more dice this turn. So you have to kind of like pair this with dice rolling stuff. Whenever you roll a die, put a +1/+1 counter on Space Family Goblinson. So it's probably easy to construct a deck. We're going to be rolling dice multiple times per turn. And so this has the potential to get very big, which will make it a target. But like maybe if you have an Ozolith on the side, things like that, maybe you can make things work out so that things don't go to waste, and if you can recur it and get it out. So anyhow, there's a lot of potential for it. I mean, it's so like I said, it's only a common, but I think it's a fun card that actually would work with Commander. Here's an example of here's our next attraction. This one is also a common, so it's the Kitty Coaster, and when you visit, creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. So not major. Germain, Pride of the Circus. We have Alpha Guard as a so there's our blinking lights there as the Galaxy foil. That's a common. And here's a Tug of War, which is also there you go. You can see all those blinking dots and shapes. That's the Galaxy foil effect, and this one's on a mythic. Spinneret Arachnobot as a showcase foil. That's an uncommon. Jack Knight, Cyborg Knight. So this is our silver border list card. Whenever another artifact enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Jack Knight. If that artifact is a contraption, Jack Knight gains lifelink until end of turn. So I don't know the full details of contraptions. That's from a prior run set. But so that's only for the lifelink part. And like I said, I don't know the legality of this in Commander, so you would have to check with your group for sure to make sure that they're cool with it. The Most Dangerous Gamer. It's a showcase foil. It's a rare. And we have a regular borderless foil planes. And we have a galaxy foil planes. So that is really pretty gorgeous. And I think the planes is one of the better ones. It's got the right density and contrast to make it really obvious that this is going on. Some of the other ones are more subtle, and it's harder to make it out. It doesn't have as much of an impact. Um, Circuitous Acts. Stilt Strider. Rad Rascal. Carnival Carnivore. Pietra Crafter of Clowns. It's the uncommons. Also, Brion Barone Midway Mobster. So someone at Wizards of the Coast has a hat fetish. So there's this hat theme going on throughout the deck. There's at least several cards that are involved. So here's an example of an attraction that's a rare. So this is the Storybook Ride. Let's see what this one does. Visit. Exile the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of attractions you've visited this turn, including this one. You may play these cards this turn. At the beginning of the next end step, if any of those cards remain exiled, put them on the bottom of your library in any order. Okay. So it's a little better than a +1/+0. Exchange of words. Okay. Slight malfunction. This is, yeah, here's another one where the galaxy effect is very prominent. That's a common. But we have Animate Graveyard, which is also in this galaxy foil. I don't know that I've necessarily seen this one before in the other boxes. Enchant your graveyard. Enchanted Graveyard is a creature on the battlefield with a base power and toughness both equal to the number of cards in it. It has the text boxes of all creature cards in it. It's still a graveyard. If Enchanted Graveyard would leave the battlefield, instead exile the animated graveyard. So you put your graveyard at risk by animating it, but it's one heck of a creature with all kinds of abilities. And if there are a bunch of abilities that are, you know, activated abilities that don't require tapping, then you've got like a whole menu of things to choose from. So that actually sounds pretty cool. And here's the Space Family Goblinson in the, in the showcase foil version of that. So B.O.B. Bevy of Beebles. So this is another one of these list silver bordered cards. Floros of Mira's Marvels. And I think, let's see. I don't know This is one of the kind of things where I don't know if this is supposed to be a Galaxy foil showcase version or not. Because there's aspects of the art that seem similar to that, but anyhow, it's this seems to be more vibrant than some of the other showcase foil versions, so I think it's slightly different, but not positive. But it's a rare. And we have a swamp as the borderless foil, and we have a plains that is galaxy foil. So now I think we've hit enough lands. There's squirrel and a food. Or I can kind of show you another thing, which is that, you know, there's for each basic land, there's two different versions. Well, two primary versions of it. And you have one that has the mana symbol and one that is just full art. And the full art one is the one that's more sought after, as far as I can tell. Lanes. Okay, so for a plains, the borderless galaxy foil, which is this one, is like 314, whereas this one is like 10. 10ish. So the ones without the mana symbol taking up space are the ones that are actually more sought after, as maybe more striking. So they're worth a little bit more. Okay. A wolf in blank clothing. Bamboozling Beeble. Tapper. So, tap an untapped creature you control that has a hat. Tap target creature. Okay. Because it's dealing with the art stuff, it has an acorn. Soul Swindler. DK Finder of the Lost. Priority boarding. And our common attraction is Cover the Spot. So it's another one of these dexterity ones that I'm not so keen on, but you drop 3 cards once you visit. If you hit one of your dice rolls, drop 3 cards you own from outside the game, one at a time, onto the battlefield. Onto the playing area from a height of at least 1 foot. If those cards completely cover the spot, claim the prize. And the prize is that you get 4 tickets. Then you may put a sticker on a non-land permanent you own. Sacrifice Cover the Spot, then open an attraction. So I still, let's see here. Started kind of merging these things together. Okay, these are our attractions. Okay, we have Trust Chief Engineer and foil. We have Plot Armor, which is a common, but it is in the Galaxy foil. Yeah, okay, there we go. So you can see some sparkle going on there. And we have an exchange of words, which is also in a galaxy foil. And we've also got an angelic Harold in showcase galaxy foil. And we have a rules lawyer as our list card. I am not going to read that. It's intentionally dense. Doodle caricaturist. So this is just a regular a regular showcase foil. A non-galaxy showcase foil. And this DOODL caricaturist Doodle. This is perfect for use in conjunction with the infinite tokens. And you have to draw a certain set of items on the card within a 15-second time limit, and it gives you all kinds of keyword buffs based on that. Here is the borderless foil forest. And here is that borderless foil forest in... There we go. See that sky sparkling, the galaxy foil. Clown robot, and a treasure. Embiggen. So this is a legal one. It doesn't have the acorn on it. Until the end of a turn, target non-brushwag creature gets +1/+1 for each super type, card type, and subtype it has. Yeah, so you have one of these really big, bigly named creatures with a lot of details, then this can help. One clown band. 6-sided die. Coming attractions. Proficient pyro dancer. Juggletron in foil. Bumper cars is our uncommon attraction. So visit and target creature must be blocked this turn if able. There's the greatest show in the multiverse as a foil. Mythic. Common jetpack janitor, but it is the galaxy foil. A mobile clone, so where your mobile phone gets to play a starring role as a token on your board in a game. Tusk and whiskers, so elephant mouse. So that's just in foil. Every thingamajig. Okay, so I will pull this off the screen because that is too tiny for me to read from here. But I haven't seen this before, and now I dropped it. Wonderful. Okay. Back. Every thingamajig. It's an artifact. 2 tap. Move a counter from one permanent onto another. If the second permanent refers to any kind of counter, the moved counter becomes one of those counters. Otherwise, it becomes a +1/+1 counter. Uh, 3 tap, put a +1/+1 counter on a target creature. 4 tap, proliferate. You choose any number of permanents and or players with counters on them, then give them each another counter of a kind already there. So I have no idea how much that's worth. It's a new one to me, but I like it. Um, and yeah, so I'd like to know if I can actually play with it. So we have a Captain Rex Nebula, and this is the showcase foil version of it. Oh, it looks to me like it might be a Galaxy. Let's see. So this one's a tricky one. Um, the particular Rex Nebula, it's got like these little lights around the edges, but it's not as fully. So I think that may just be part of the art and not intended to be official Galaxy foiling, but kind of in the borders, there's seemingly Galaxy foiling. So yeah, so I don't know. I would have to see. No, I mean this does look like a Galaxy foil to me. Uh, it's just much more subtle than yeah. So in the text box, you can see the blinking going on there, the twinkling, the little lights. So I do think that's a Galaxy foil, and that's a rare. So it's a showcase Galaxy foil. We have a mountain as a borderless foil. And here we have a swamp as a Galaxy foil. And we have a clown robot and food. Okay, we're finishing off the first stack here. Super Duper Lost. Robo Pinata. Scooch. Unlawful Entry. Busted. Bioluminary. Spinny Ride. So Spinny Ride is a common, so visit, tap target creature and opponent controls. Meet and Greet Sasay. Foil. Then we have the common Vegetation Abomination in Galaxy Foil. And Souvenir T-shirt also. I believe this is it's supposed to be Galaxy Foil. Okay. Yeah, it's a Galaxy Foil. Ambassador Blurpity Blorp Bloop. And this one is also a Galaxy foil in the showcase. So it's a showcase Galaxy foil. But it's uncommon. Staying power until end of turn, and this turn effects don't end. So that's one of the ones where, I'm just not gonna know for sure what's going, whether that counts or not as something legal for EDH. And this is another one where it's difficult to make a call. I think this might be a Galaxy foil, but I think, yeah, so this one's more of an edge case. I don't, yeah, so it's showcase foil at the very least. And here is an island in borderless foil and an island in, there we go, in the Galaxy foil. A cat and a balloon. Rockstar. Nearby planet. So this is a very versatile land. But you gotta... Yeah, you have to sacrifice it unless you pay one when it comes out, but then it does all kinds of things because it's got rangeling, which is, I'm assuming, new. This card is every land type, including plains, island, swamp, mountain, forest, desert, gate, lair, locust, and all those Urza ones. And it enters the battlefield tapped. And you got to pay the one when it enters the battlefield or sacrifice it. So it can do all kinds of stuff. But they made it an acorn, I think, to prevent abuse of the handle, those Urza ones, and maybe some other stuff. But in typical games, it might not be a problem. Chicken Troop. Amped up. Angelic Herald. Goblin Girder Gang. We have a rare attraction, the Haunted House. So visit, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste. Exile it at the beginning of your next end step. So that's, a reasonably good effect. Treacherous Trapezist. I don't believe I have pulled that one before. Flying, so it's a porcupine performer. Flying, whenever you cast an alliterative spell, scry 2. Other alliterative creatures you control have flying. So I would have to play around with Scryfall to see what makes sense for that sort of thing. Dissatisfied Customer. So it's our common Galaxy foil. Yeah. And a Black Hole. So destroy target creature and up to X other target creatures, where X is the number of attractions you visited this turn. So it's 3 and a black to do that. And this is the Galaxy foil version of the Black Hole. Ambassador Blorpity Bloop. Blorpity Blorp Boop. And this is in the showcase foil. Serpentine. This is from a prior unset, and it's like supposed to like match up with host cards. You have to pull enough other list cards for this to even be useful. So I don't know. It's in the set. That one isn't worth much. Lila Hospitality Hostess, and this one is also a Galaxy foil. And we have a Plains, and borderless foil, and we have a Forest, and the Galaxy foil. And a Teddy Bear, and a Balloon. Deadbeat Attendant. Bag Check. Aerial Elephant. Questionable Cuisine. Scampire. The Last Voyage of the Blank. Okay, common foam weapons kiosk as an attraction. Visit, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. That creature gains vigilance until end of turn. Mobile clone. Finishing move. Okay, and that is Galaxy foil. Omni Clown Colossus as a Galaxy foil. I think that's regular Galaxy foil. I haven't by eye. That one's an adventure. I don't think there's a whole lot of adventures in this. So I think that's like the regular version. I don't know what I think the showcase version would have cartoonier art in it. Brim's Barone Midway Mobster. So this is just the showcase foil. Split Screen as our list card. So this is also a new one to me. It's an artifact. When Split Screen enters the battlefield, shuffle the library and deal it into 4 libraries. If anything refers to your library, choose one of your libraries for it. Play with your library's top cards revealed. When Split Screen leaves the battlefield, shuffle your libraries together. So essentially, you're revealing information to your opponents, but you're also giving yourself options. It actually sounds pretty good. Yeah, so I'll see if that is like a reasonable rule 0. Soliflora, Intergalactic Icon. And this one's just a showcase foil. We have an island. And we have the plains with the pretty, very pretty Galaxy foil. Clown Robot and Treasure. An incident has occurred. Finishing move. Slight malfunction. Ride guide. Get your head in a game. Ticking Mime Bomb. Okay. I haven't seen this one before. Um, Artifacts creature, clown robot mime. When ticking mime bomb enters the battlefield, without speaking or indicating any specific creature, pantomime or pantomime to a person outside the game, then they choose a creature you don't control. Ticking mime bomb deals damage equal to twice the number of robots you control to the chosen creatures. Yeah, so not one of the subtypes that I'm thrilled about referring to some outside person. That just seems blah. Okay, we have a concession stand, which is an uncommon attraction. Visit, create a food token. Okay, makes sense. Grand Marshal Macy. Art appreciation as our common galaxy foil. Then we have our rare galaxy foil, which is don't try this at home. Tusk and Whiskers as showcase foil. Over My Dead Bodies as our list card. So let me double check this one. Creature cards in graveyards can attack and block as though they were on the battlefield. Can block or be blocked only by creature cards in graveyards. Are zombies in addition to their other types. And have Undeath Touch. So if they would deal damage to a creature card, exile that creature card instead. Creature cards in your graveyard have haste. Wow. That sounds like a lot. Could be interesting in the right pod. Nocturno of Mira's Marvels in a showcase. I believe this is, yeah. So I think this is Galaxy Foil. So a showcase. Maybe not. I am not positive it's a Galaxy Foil. It may just be that there are certain highlights in this particular art that twinkle kind of like a Galaxy Foil would. We have a mountain. And we have an island with the Galaxy Foil treatment. Squirrel. And a Stormcrow. Focused Funambulist. Now you see me. Dissatisfied customer. Crooked Amphibinaut. Knight in blank armor. Wicca Picka. Pick a Beeble as a common attraction. Soul Performer. Bar Entry as our common Galaxy foil. Myra the Magnificent in Galaxy foil. DK Finder of the Lost in it's Galaxy foil. I don't know. At least I very much think it's well, maybe it's not. But I think maybe it's Showcase. And it's a Showcase foil. It may or may not be Galaxy foil. Cramped Bunker. I think that one's not a big deal as our list card. Hardy of Myra's Marvels. So that's a Showcase foil. And we have an island. And we have a forest. That's got the Galaxy foil. Zombie Employee and a treasure. We are down to the final 2 regular packs. Vegetation Abomination. Well done. Draconian Gatebot. Petting Zookeeper. Quick Fixer. Astroquarium. Scavenger Hunt. An uncommon. Yeah. Not going to read that one through. Omni Clown Colossus. Foil. Wicker Picker and Galaxy foil. Form of the Approach of the Second Sun and Galaxy foil. And here's DK Finder of the Lost. I think this is in Showcase foil again. A Cornelia Fashionable Filter. Whenever you cast a spell with a squirrel in the art, you get an acorn counter. Whenever a squirrel you control enters the battlefield or dies, you get an acorn counter. 2 and a black, pay X, acorn counters, and target gets -X/-X until end of turn. Green, pay X acorn counters. Target creature gets +X/+X until end of turn. So it sounds like a fine card for people that are aficionados of Chitterfang. So if people will let you play with that, you can like really get mean with Chitterfang. Magar of the Magic Strings. So this is a Showcase foil, it looks like. I don't see evidence of Don't see real evidence of the Galaxy foil. This one looks complicated. Um, one red to black. Note the name of target instant or sorcery card in your graveyard and put it onto the battlefield face down. It's a 3/3. It's a 3/3 creature with whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, you may create a copy of the card with the noted name. You may cast the copy without paying its mana cost. And if this creature would leave the battlefield, exile it instead of putting it anywhere else. So, wrapping my head around it. Yeah, so it's a way of recurring stuff, recurring instant or sorcery cards from the graveyard. I mean, you burn them out, but you get to use them. So that happened to be a new one. I hadn't seen that before. Out of the first three boxes, forest, and we have a swamp with the have to trust me. Yeah, there you can see some of it blinking back and forth. That's a Galaxy foil. Cat and a food token. Okay, our final pack. Bar entry. Line cutter. Seasoned Botania. Impounding lot bot. So, when impounding lot bot enters the battlefield, you may say incarcerate in a robot voice. If you do, exile another target creature or enchantment until impounding lot bot leaves the battlefield. Squirrel Squatters. Spinneret Arachnobat. Guess Your Fate is an uncommon attraction. Look at the bottom card of your library, then give a person outside the game a one-word clue not on that card. They guess a word. If their guess appears in that card's name, claim the prize. Reveal the card, put it into your hand. The prize is to reveal the card, put it into your hand, then sacrifice Guess Your Fate, and open an attraction. Vidalcan Squirrel Whacker. Assembled Ensemble in Galaxy Foil. Twinkling Stars. So it's a clown robot bard. Vigilance. Assembled Ensemble's power is equal to the number of robots you control. Whenever you cast a spell with an artifact creature in its art, create a 1/1 white clown robot artifact creature token. Lifetime Pass Holder in Galaxy Foil. Space Family Goblin and Showcase Foil. Summon the Pack is our list card. Yeah, open a sealed Magic Booster Pack. Reveal the cards. Put all creature cards revealed this way onto the battlefield under your control. There's zombies in addition to their other types. Remove those cards from your deck before beginning a new game. Yeah. Okay. Devil Knievel. In. Okay. Is there a way to capture this one? This one, when I look at it, it's pretty obviously got a lot of glitter going on in the spaceship. And I believe this is a galaxy foil, but I'm not positive. And we have a swamp as a borderless foil, and we have a mountain as where are we going to catch it? Okay, there you go. You can see some. You can see a couple blinking lights there. Clown robot and a treasure. Okay. So let's see what our box topper has in store. So our grand finale here is Breeding Pool. So we have a Breeding Pool borderless foil. This Galaxy Lands. So we happen to get 2 breeding pools, which is great. And this one is the Galaxy foil, and this one is not. Then of the regular, well, of the Galaxy lands, we only got 2 of the more expensive ones. That's like 20. $60, $170, $80, $90. Okay, so I think having the 2 shocks with one of them being a foil, being a Galaxy foil, sets us up for this to be a good box. I think that plus the other lands are probably at least currently supplying the price of the box. Out of the regular cards, even in the rares, I think most of the cards in the set are not particularly valuable, at least at this time. There's probably a subset of them that will persist, beyond the hubbub about this release. But what are the mysteries to me are these list cards. So I am going to switch the website. I'm looking up in TCG Player under the collection option is how I'm looking at prices. So I'm going with TCG Mid, and I will go to the list. So control find summon the pack. Okay, that's like a $2 one. And One. A Cornelia is like 370. That's sub $1. Let's look $1.50 for Over My Dead Bodies. Split screen's only 85 cents, but I still find that one interesting. Serpentine, I'm not going to bother. Check out Staying Power. Staying Power is only 75 cents. Every thingamajig. Okay, depending on which one, A or F. 147. Let's see what the A looks like. Didn't mean to. Okay. Okay, there's no picture for A. Is there a picture for F? There's no picture for F. Oh. Close. Okay, they don't have pictures for everything in the jig. There's two different versions, an A and an F. Let me click on the F version and see if it says anything about the number. They both say the same number. So who knows for sure, but it's anywhere from $3 to $6-ish. Rules lawyer is just sub $1. Big ideas like 78 cents. Jack Knight's 90 cents. This is 363 for Bevia Beebles. So I think there was nothing super exciting out of that. But there was a little value in there. And yeah, so anyhow, I think you know, I found that when we go to the main set, it's like so overwhelmed by putting the value in the lands that it really isn't worth tracking the main set. There are a few cards I can check to see just if anything has shifted. I'm gonna get rid of the regular cards, the normal ones, and just restrict it to foil. And see what the highest prices are now. So of course it's all of like Steam Vents, Godless Shrine, Hallowed Fountain, Blood Crypt, Watery Grave, Breeding Pool. Those are all the Sacred Foundry, Overgrown. Yeah, so all those lands Um, the Galaxy foil for Comet is 26. We don't have that here. We don't have the Space Balerin here in Galaxy foil, or the Salt and Half. The Magar of the Magic Strings in Galaxy foil is 1430. Don't think this one was a Galaxy foil. I think this is just a showcase foil. Comet, Vorthos, Saw in Half. Showcase, even if this was Galaxy foil, it would be 619. So, most of the other cards, yeah. So they precipitously drop, and they're like in the five. There's some things in the $5, $4, $3, $2 range. But I think like say 110, 100 and look at the breeding pool again. 34, 44, 50, 60, 4, 70, 80, 90, 100. Yeah, so I think we're approaching like the $200 value of the box. And it's probably a little bit more than that for the box with shipping and or tax and whatever else. But overall, yeah, this is a good box particularly compared to the second one. Second one was pretty lousy. I mean, the highlight was that um, it did have a Richard Garfield list card. But other than that, and it had one Shockland from Box Topper. It wasn't Galaxy foil, but other than that, it was no big deal. So I will take the win. Given what I've seen of this set via the collector boxes, so this is number 4. Number 4 is as good, if not better, than the first box. At least it's on par with the first box. The second one was very much a low point. The third one was somewhere in between. Yeah. So anyhow, I hope you liked looking at the pretty cards, and I will see you for the next video. Goodbye.